Before we dive into credit futures, a quick heads up. We're peeling back the curtain on FICO 10T and Vantage Score 4.0 with the latest data we could snag as of February 28, 2025. It's all for your brain, not your bank account. This isn't financial advice, so don't come crying if the algorithms eat your lunch. We've checked our facts with the bigwigs, but things shift fast in this game, and we're not on the hook if it all goes sideways. Opinions? Ours. Questions? Hit the subscribe first. Now let's get cynical. As of February 2025, the Federal Housing Finance Agency has kicked the fourth quarter 2025 deadline into a vague, to be determined limbo. All because the industry begged for more time. Translation: they're not ready, and maybe they never will be. Procrastination's the real MVP here, setting the stage for what's shaping up to be a chaotic transition. Speaking of chaos, let's unpack what makes these models tick before we get too cynical. FICO 10T and Vantage Score 4.0 are ditching the old one and done credit snapshot for something creepier: trended data. Picture this: every rent check, utility bill, and phone payment over 2 years, all under a microscope. FICO's T stands for trended, while Vantage Score 4.0 throws in some AI fairy dust to scorks folks who barely had a credit blip before. They swear it'll open doors for millions. But it's hard not to wonder, is more surveillance really the golden ticket to financial inclusion? Let's hold the thought and check the pulse of today's credit mess. Because while we're waiting for this grand overhaul, the current system's cracking like a cheap windshield. Vantage Score's January 2025 numbers paint a grim picture. Delinquencies at a 5-year high, auto loans back to pre-pandemic disaster levels, and credit card approvals shrinking even as folks beg for them. Average balances up to $105,700, jumping over $1,000 in just 1 month. It's a train wreck in slow motion, and here we are, betting on new algorithms to fix it. But before we get too hopeful, there's another twist in this tale worth a closer look. That twist: they're slashing credit reports from 3 bureaus to 2. Welcome to the buy-merge era. The pitch is it'll save cash and spark competition. But here's the dirty secret: each bureau tells a slightly different story. Ditch one, and you're blind to a chunk of the truth. Accuracy be damned. The mortgage industry pockets a cool $292 million a year, $36 per loan. While we're left guessing if that missing piece could have tipped the scales, it's a cost-cutting game dressed up as progress. And it's not the only thing these models are hiding up their sleeves. Take algorithm bias, for instance, probably the ugliest skeleton in this closet. These models lean on machine learning, which sounds slick until you realize it's just parroting our past sins. Historical data's a bias buffet, and studies show Black and Hispanic folks get mislabeled as high risk 80% more often. Vantage Score brags about a 17% drop in racial gaps, but with no independent proof, it's just hot air. We're handing robots our prejudices, calling it innovation, and hoping they don't screw us too badly. Speaking of screwing us, let's talk about what all that extra data means for privacy. Because more data equals more danger, simple math, FICO 10T and Vantage Score 4.0 are slurping up payment histories like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, ballooning consumer data points to 1,200 from 400 since 2020. Breaches are up 32%, costing $294 a record, and AI-driven fraud spiking. $9 billion lost last year alone. Remember Equifax. 147 million exposed. 425 million paid out. Now imagine that with even juicier data. It's an open invitation to crooks. And we're the ones left locking the door after the horse bolts. All this tech wizardry is supposed to level the playing field, right? Well, don't hold your breath. Vantage Scores says 37 million more folks could get scored, with nearly 5 million eyeing mortgages. Except 62% are stuck with pricey loans. Meanwhile, the prime tier shrinking, the rich climb to super prime, and the rest slide to subprime. The wealth gaps hit 10 to 1, white versus black households. And 41% of the credit invisible hail from minority neighborhoods. It's less a ladder to equality and more a shovel digging deeper. Same old story, just with fancier numbers. And if economic stress wasn't enough, these new toys are a criminal's dream. Past model shifts saw fraud jump 37%, and now AI's in the mix. Synthetic identities breeze past 84% of checks. Shady outfits are even selling credit washing for $3 to $5 grand, gaming trended data like pros. It's an arms race between banks and crooks, with us stuck in the middle, wallets wide open. So, while the powers that be fumble this rollout, what's an expert to do? Let's pivot to some practical moves. Here's your playbook, experts, while we're marooned in this delay limbo. First, treat this stall as a warning. Dig into trended data's quirks now. Second, audit your systems for bias. Machines don't unlearn our baggage without a nudge. 41% fewer complaints if you do. Third, beef up security before these data hogs land. Per tests found 14 gaps on average. And fourth, don't sugarcoat it with clients. These models might crack the door wider, but they won't fix inequality. They'll just map it sharper, with privacy risks as a bonus. Act smart, or you'll be playing catch-up when the future lands. So, where's this all heading? Daily scorings on deck. By 2027, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's sniffing around for AI explainability rules. And 63% of execs bet open banking kills Beerus in a decade. FICO 10T and Vantage Score 4.0 are just warm-ups for a world where algorithms call every shot, biased, opaque, and all-powerful. Maybe the real rebellion isn't tweaking the system, but asking why credit scores rule us at all. Until our next cynical dive, keep your data close. Someone's always itching to cash it in. Thank you for watching. See you next time.